Hi to everyone, I'm Angela May from the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, and thank you for having me today. The impact on the supply chain of the pandemic has been different according to the different type of lockdowns that we have seen around the world. In terms of cultivation of drugs, there has not been major impacts. So in Afghanistan, we have seen a more involvement of women and children in the harvest that was around May and June in Afghanistan due to the shortage of other labor, particularly from other countries. Then in terms of the other trafficking or manufacturing of other drugs, the synthetic drugs manufacture has been more affected in countries where precursors are coming from other regions, like for example in Mexico, where precursors are coming from China, or in the Middle East, where Captagon precursors again come from Southeast Asia. And that's where we have seen some disruption in terms of the manufacturing of drugs. And toward the end, in terms of the selling of large quantity of trafficking, again the situation is mixed, with large cocaine trafficking and gone not disrupted at all from the pandemic, while the heroin trafficking has been interrupted, particularly in countries where there's been major restriction in lockdowns. The price and purity has changed in different ways at the two extremes of the supply chain, from the source, from the production of drugs to the selling to the final user. In countries like Peru and Myanmar, we have seen a sharp decline of cocaine in terms of Peru and opium in Myanmar due to the difficulties of traffickers to move to the area, to the growing area to buy the drugs. And in Peru, for example, there has been almost 50% decrease in the price of coca leaf between January and April. On the other end of the spectrum, at the street side and the selling, actually many countries have reported the increase of price and decrease of purity, particularly of substances like heroin, and also in countries where the lockdown has been particularly severe, really affected the availability of heroin in the street. Vulnerable population will be affected and have been affected by the pandemic directly and indirectly. Indirectly because of the economic recession that the pandemic has brought all over the world, and this will have an effect on the community that live around drug cultivation areas, where typically farmers are not able to cope with economic shocks, and so it's likely that more households will have to rely on illicit drug cultivation to overcome the economic crisis. On the other side, from the drug users, they are also likely to be affected by the economic downturns in terms of increased drug use and possibly also the increase of more harmful and cheaper drugs, as have been seen during the 2008 financial crisis. The pandemic has also affected the drug user already directly. With a shortage of drugs, users have been turning to more harmful substances to overcome the shortage, and also have suffered the lack of accessibility to treatment centers, where some countries have overcome providing more accessibility to treatment through pharmacies, for example. In other countries, this did not happen, and definitely had an impact on the type and quality of treatment that drug users could have access during the pandemic. So with this, I want to thank you for your attention, and I wish a great discussion.